Welcome in everybody to another Shitcoin Talk, where we usually just go through what's been happening during the week and what's hot in the markets. So we like to go through some like strategies too and how we look at things. And I think we'll just do more of that today here. Jake, what do you think? Should we start off with what's been hot, like talk about the meta a little bit, and then move on to were you going to share screen? What was your plan for today?
Yeah, we can keep it casual. Couple things to talk about, but yeah, mainly start with like meta stuff and go from there. Yeah, y'all. Yeah, casual chat for the shitcoin stuff. Definitely want to get you guys involved too. So feel free, chime in whenever, either on voice, which we'd love, or in text too is cool as well. Uh, but yeah, man, it's been a wild week so far, especially the last like couple of days where we're kind of like entering hopefully like the normie time. It seems like we've been talking about it for so long, and it seems like it's almost like finally here. We're seeing some stuff that I definitely like to track. Is like downloads, app downloads, of both Coinbase and now Phantom's like a big one to track. It just passed like Instagram and WhatsApp, I think, today for like the most downloads. I think it's like 16th or something in the App Store. I had a tweet, but I don't have it in front of me anymore. Um, Maybe like top 15 or whatever. Um, so I think that's just a really good sign that a lot of new people are starting to get into the space, and it helps that like the main coin that they're buying is like this TikTok meme that like a bunch of normies know about. They're telling all their friends, and it's just been up only. Um, been really good to see. Even though I'm like not allocated whatsoever, I definitely missed out. I'm still super pumped about it because that just means there's so many more people coming into the space, which makes our jobs a bit easier for sure. As traders, it gives us kind of like a lot more liquidity, and it gives us a lot of easier competition, if you will, to trade against since we've been in here doing it for quite a while now. And even if you haven't been, you have the resources of everyone else here that can help you along the way. So I'm pretty pumped. Even though like market's been downish over the past day or so, like I'm still like really excited about the future here. I think we're gonna have a really good like whole like winter season, especially in the shitcoin trenches. I think there's gonna be a lot of really good opportunities.
Yeah, well said. Actually, I never thought of tracking wallets. But I do like to track, like basically, one thing I haven't looked at enough yet, and I should look more at is like Google searches and stuff. I'm sure if we looked, there's been a huge spike in just the words, like keywords that we use. But just another good metric here, like you just talked about chill guy. I actually missed it too. I guess in our minds, like in my mind, I had capped it a little too low. Like I told myself, oh, it's just another meme that's gonna run. We've seen a million other TikTok memes run, right? And I was capping it. I was thinking maybe a couple hundred mil, and I missed it. Not enough upside for me to get in now that I'm late, even though all the callers were on it. But then I started looking a little deeper, and I noticed that I should have at least seen that like the signs were there. Like first of all, the meme I'm on TikTok often. I'd never seen that meme. Like I've seen it, but not enough to think that it was like the main meme on TikTok. I don't know. Maybe my for you page isn't full of those memes. But one thing I did notice is the amount of holders on Chill Guy. It's like first of all, yeah, downloads are important and stuff, but the amount of holders that got into this coin that launched just a few days ago, there's 85,000 holders on Chill Guy. It's been increasing at an astronomical rate. To give you an idea, Peanut has 65,000 holders and is at almost like a 1.5 billion market cap. It's been around for about 15 or 16 days now. Had all that hype around it. So why I'm mentioning this is it just goes to show how many people have been entering the space this past week or so. Because obviously they're probably not buying Peanut, they're probably going to buy something like Chill Guy that's brand new, right? Peanut might have brought them in, but Peanut's too high for them, so they're not going to buy Peanut. They're going to look at whatever else is coming out, and it will be something like Chill Guy that they could relate to. So Peanut that's been here for longer has 65,000 holders. Chill Guy just came out and has 85,000. That just shows to me that there's a whole like wave of new people coming in. It shows me that it's finally the time that normies are coming in. We're seeing TikTok talk about shit coins. We're seeing new people try to rug shit coins left and right. Like, sure, the times are getting dangerous, but at the same time, for people like us that have been in the space for a while and have been trading shit coins, I mean, this is the time to start taking advantage of these newcomers, and that's just what it is. It's PvP, right? So it should be the easiest like now to make money, but we'll see. It might also mean that things run like I don't know. We'll see. I think charts are going to run much higher than we originally thought, and it's going to start now just because of all these new guys coming in and jumping into the same coins. But we'll see. I just think it's going to present a lot of opportunity. But the holder count is what really like showed me that okay, it's time now. We're rocking and rolling now. We've gone from the AI meta to back to TikTok meta pretty quick. I don't know if that like I don't think AI meta is dead, but I do think that it's cool. Like we see it, it's cooling off today, cooling off this week. But yeah, I expect us to eventually get back to it. TikTok meta is going to be hot for a little while, I think, but I don't think it's going to be like I think we're going to be hopping around. Like right now, I find like we're in a bit of a weird spot where like today, for example, not much is ran. There's a lot of coins that are down. Like it kind of feels like the space is kind of trying to find itself again, trying to find a direction again. We're kind of in limbo right now. So I haven't been trading too much. I haven't been paying attention too much to the markets. Well, I've been paying attention, but I haven't actually been getting involved just because I don't know where we're going. So I'm letting things settle a little bit, and yeah, just trying to find a direction before I get invested again.
Yeah, I think there's gonna be a lot of opportunity. It's interesting because there's just so many memes out there, and then like the attention on the memes out right now. I feel like it's like a different crowd coming in, obviously with newer people. So I don't know if like these older, bigger memes are really gonna be super attractive um to like the newer crowd, I guess. But I would say like with a caveat, like besides ones that are like the big ones that are listed on exchanges where it's like really easy to buy. So like stuff that's on like Coinbase or Binance, I think those will probably still do good. But if they're not listed yet and they're like bigger memes, I don't know if like normies are really gonna come in and buy unless they're like also like viral, like unless it's like something like Mudang maybe, or maybe even Peanut, right? But like, um, I don't know. I just don't know. I'm not sure if they're really gonna be attracted to like stuff that's already ran up a ton. Like they're probably gonna want more relatable, like non like crypto native um stuff like this chill guy, obviously. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. I'm probably um I'm basically I feel like like my goal hopefully ideally is to like get good entry on get a good entry if it's something new. But then also like if it's like really gaining a lot of momentum, I think the ceiling is much higher than what it's previously been. Like for this chill guy, I think this can go like pretty wildly high. We've already seen it absolutely like rip like crazy in a short amount of time. Um, I just think the ceilings in general are going to be raised from what they were when we're used to, just like even like a couple months ago, just because there's so much new capital and there's so much more attention now on the space, and I think it's only going to grow, especially if Bitcoin like goes over 100K. I think that's going to also be like a nice round like big like trigger um, for normies as well. So yeah, it's exciting times.
Yeah, I agree. I've been saying liquid on purpose for that, just because I don't like I was just saying I don't know where we're going, and I don't know what kind of look this market's gonna take. Right, with all these new people coming in, things that we know might not be true anymore. So I'm waiting. I'm just noticing that the game has already changed so much. These big streamers are talking about certain coins, and obviously those are gonna moon. So I'd rather be liquid and wait for the right thing to be talked about and be like widespread, and I'll jump in on that. For someone like me with a smaller account right now, probably I'm not gonna touch chill guy just because there's no point of putting a soul in to make like two or three soul a few days from now or whatever, right? So I'm keeping my liquidity to kind of play other coins that might come out and play the hype train. But yeah, I mean, I think you're right about Choga. I think it's gonna go much higher, and it might be this current meta's leader, like we saw like Peanut before this, and Mudang and other ones lead, or even Goat led the AI meta. There might be Choga that kind of leads this little time frame that we're going to go through, this time period that we're going to go through. So I do feel like it has a good chance of getting picked up by exchanges. It has a good chance of basically running up much higher. But it really depends on your portfolio if you want to invest into that. If you're already in, congratulations. I completely faded it and that was dumb of me. But like I saw all the callers calling it at the same time, still faded it. But whatever, it is what it is. There's going to be other plays. Now it's just for me, it's waiting and seeing. You know, like yesterday we had a really hot day. So there was a lot of opportunity there with quant running and stuff. We could actually talk about that a little bit just to catch people up because I'm sure people are curious. But if you haven't seen yet, this kid rugged his coin, Gen Z Quant, and made 30K. And as a revenge, all of CT got together and decided, you know what? Let's make this guy cope. Let's run up this token. And it was like an organized pump by everybody, really. Even big streamers like XQC were tweeting about this kid, and it got really viral. And they ran up that coin from like a million where he sold all the way up to what was it, like 70 or almost 80 million peak. So they made his $30,000 bag go into the couple millions if he would have just held. But obviously, he probably would have never got there if he held because that coin would have just died anyway. But yeah, there was a lot of hype there. I rode that train. I got in at 8 million, sold at 80. Did a nice little pump there. Kept the moon bag. Obviously, now it's down bad. But those are the types of plays I'm going to look at. I'm going to look at things that are viral, things that are current, and maybe get in and out and hold the moon bag and see where it goes. You
60's
hold?
asking if you traded your microphone in for shitcoins.
No, is it bad today?
Well, yeah, it's a little muffled. It's not as clear.
Let me get my other headphone. Let me see.
Maybe it's different input.
Nah, it's because when I'm home, I have a good mic, and here I have headphones, and they're not the best.
I need to start. I keep posting shit in shitcoin chat. It's hard for me to know where I should post stuff for the show. If I should post it in shitcoin chat or if I should post it in voice hangout chat. Probably
Let me
both
know.
post it in voice hangout chat. That would make more sense.
Yeah, let me know if this is a little bit better.
Um, yeah, if you haven't seen the video of this kid, it's actually so funny. That Jinzo's talking about this like 12-year-old kid or something, making like 30K real quick and, and then flipping off the camera and uh saying I just made 20 bandos or whatever and turns off the stream. Oh, it's great.
He had rugged another coin just a few days ago, actually, for $2,500. I think it was on Monday, right before school. He had pulled another rug and made a coin, and he thought he was like a genius, right, for rugging. And then yeah, then I guess his second stint was this one at 30K. One sec, I got someone here. Yeah, my bad. I have suppliers who just walked in. But yeah, so that's it. You know, people had to take the revenge on him. The memes have been great. Shout out to Llama. He really made some crazy memes here.
Um, yeah, anything from crowd or anything about the influx of new people here or Quant or any of these other latest coins? Want to open it up?
Yeah, I guess something really quick. I popped in late, so you guys might have touched upon it. But do you think a strategy would be to take a look at like what's trending on, say, Moonshot? It seems like that has a lot of like wallets, or if there's a way to see what coins are getting listed on there first that has that traction. So taking a quick look at trending, Huz that's up on there has like 41,000 holders already, but it's only like a 11 million market cap, and then same thing with Winter. It's kind of lower. It's like 15 million, but
Uh,
38,000 market cap.
yeah, dude. Oh my gosh, I'm mad. I'm sad about Winter. I had like a long term bag and it just didn't do anything for like a month, and I sold it off for a loss. And I was thinking about buying it back like a week or two ago, like under a million, and I'm sad that I never did. But you know, we haven't really talked about strategy stuff yet. We were kind of just chopping up about current meta, but that's a really good call on Moonshot stuff. There's actually a Twitter account that's a good follow. I have notifications on for. It's called Moonshot Listings, and they're like the most like the fastest alert system. Basically, when something new gets listed on Moonshot, they'll tweet it out right away. So you can you can figure out what all is going on there. Usually, there's a green candle that happens. Honestly, a lot of times it's like a good one to sell into, and then you can usually probably buy back a little lower if you're still bullish on it. Listen to that voice hangout chat. But yeah, trending on Moonshot's a good call. I don't really use Moonshot, um, but I do wonder if is there Pocket Change. Do you know it? Do they have like a trending tool or anything, or do you know any other tools that like you can see like where a lot of buys are coming from Moonshot specifically?
Yeah, so I downloaded it last night. Didn't think I would ever be on Moonshot, to be honest, and it's pretty straightforward. It does have top gainers, which is probably, as a newbie, interesting to see. Like Winter's up 3.8k. Like I would click on it and buy it if I was a newbie. Or trending, they have it like in order of either high and low. So like Quaint's up there, Chill Guy's up there, Bonk's up there. This other one, Weight, is up there. Doesn't really give you too much like filtering that you can do, because like I think if you could filter it by like new listings and trendings, you could probably find a way to narrow it down a little bit more. But I'm only using my phone too, so maybe the computer is a better application.
Yeah, I haven't used it at all either. I don't think I've ever opened that app, but I keep hearing about it. That's actually on me. I should know all the tools that are out there and at least look into them. But I guess I just have a comfortable way of doing things, and I don't really care. As long as it's getting more coins in front of more people, then good, you know.
Yeah, I look at it right, like if they're on here and this is their easiest way to buy $5, like they're not going to be on Deck Screener, right, or Pump Fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's pretty nice. I downloaded it a while ago. I never really used it because their fees are actually like ridiculous. It's annoying how high their fees are, like getting money in and out. Um, but it definitely it definitely makes it a lot easier. Yeah, they do have a trending tab too. I wonder if that's like, wonder what they base it on. That's probably a good thing to look at. It also is like pretty similar to like Photon. It's probably based on like volume and stuff. That's another one to pay attention to, like downloads as well as like Phantom or the Coinbase app. I did see, I think it was yesterday, I saw that they had like their highest day ever of daily downloads. So if that continues to trend up, I don't know if there's somewhere you can find data on that, but that would be a really good one to track, in my opinion, along with Phantom and Coinbase.
Sorry about that. I had the milkman here. I had to help unload and pay the bill. But I'm back. I'm back.
Milkman.
Every day it's something, bro. You know, when you have the milk order come in, it's a couple $100, and you notice that you're making more on shitcoins. You wonder why you do this sometimes.
uh, yeah, we were just talking. I was just talking about the download tracking stuff. I think like that's a really good metric. Um, yeah, I posted something in chat earlier today too, but I think if you just like search, someone tweeted about this, but if you just search like meme coin in TikTok, I think that's also like might be a decent way just of like seeing what like the TikTokers are shilling as far as meme coin goes. If it is, at least like during this honestly, not even like just during this like TikTok specific meta, but even for future metas, if there's going to be more new people in, then they're probably going to continue to shill a lot on TikTok. We saw that, I think, like during last cycle as well, where like a bunch of NFT collections and stuff were getting shilled on various social media platforms, like TikTok and stuff by normies. I think same case. If you can follow people who are influential on those specific platforms, like on TikTok, then that probably I don't really know. I saw I feel like I saw a list, maybe a couple of people earlier. I can't remember where it was shared though, off the top of my head. Um, but yeah, if you just find, I bet you can probably find the main people just by searching that though. See who's like getting the most engagement and views, and those could be like actually a good alpha source to see like who like what coins are trending outside of our normal crypto bubble.
Yeah, I agree. My feed's already all getting polluted by crypto stuff. I saw it ramping up, and then this last couple weeks it's been insane. It's just crypto stuff and meme coin stuff nonstop. People talking about like things that have been happening too. You get a lot of the news too that comes with it. But yeah, we're in full bull now for sure because it had quieted down for years. Actually, for a couple of years, I was only seeing sometimes I'd see some pudgy penguins memes or whatever pop up on my for you page. But other than that, no crypto like influencer, or I didn't have any like these gurus that just show up just in the bull. I didn't have any of that. So it's yeah, there's a lot that we could find on TikTok just to get an edge. It's not even follow their calls, but just to give you an idea of what the normies are talking about and where their eyes are at. Yeah, because yeah, crypto Twitter is fine and all, but it's good to have more sources of info just to gauge where we're going and what coins might be talked about and shilled. I used to use TikTok a lot, and I'm sure this cycle is going to be like all the other ones before it, where new influencers are going to pop up with new metas and new things. Where yeah, your old ones that you had might be relevant, but there's going to be a whole new wave of influencers that are going to be also relevant to keep an eye out for.
Um, yeah, does anyone have any recommendations on like TikTok people to follow? Uh, would love one. No one's in the TikTok trenches.
I'll do some searches later on and see. I gotta get back with the times.
I'm not, but I see Min on Twitter who says he's gonna go more active in TikTok. So he's got like I think about just under 1 million followers on there. He was live
Yeah,
for the past like 2 days and tweeting about it. So
nice. Yeah, that's a good shout.
You're right. I noticed that too. Min's good. I think he started on TikTok actually, then he transferred over to CT. So yeah, he's been bull posting. He's starting up his account again. I think he hadn't been doing as much lately on TikTok, but he's back.
Yeah, I'm gonna put that in my notes, man. Cool.
Thread
That's
guy
another
too.
one. Bro.
His Twitch. That's since we're talking about TikTok, but even Thread guy's Twitch, like he's been Twitch streaming almost every day. And I was critical of their first episode because I found it was just too pump and dumpy. But ever since that one, like he's been having a lot of guests on, and a lot of the coins they talk about, like you get a good info on behind the scenes of that coin, but it also runs like crazy because this guy has like 1,500 viewers on Twitch, which is insane if you think about it. That's like top 0.1% of Twitch, and he just started streaming. So it's probably a good thing to just follow his stream and listen in and like get an idea of what those guys are talking about and what they're inquiring about and what guests they bring on because I've seen all those coins move. So that's probably higher market cap stuff, a lot of AI stuff, but I know he's not just gonna stick to AI. This guy likes to pivot and talk about meme coins or whatever else is relevant. Like on today's show, I wouldn't be surprised if he talks about the whole quant situation and other TikTok plays. Like he's in tune with the market and he knows what he's talking about. So that's one I would probably
Wait,
follow closely. Is who is that?
how are you?
Seinfeld?
Seinfeld hot mic.
Not much. I'll walk up. Don't worry. Okay.
Can't mute him. You got him? Oh,
Got him.
thanks. I think I was only muting him for me. But yeah, so I would definitely keep an eye on Thread Guy's um, Twitch. It's crazy. He's growing so fast, and he's impossible to ignore. He's got people like Frank on there, always talking about coins and even their strategies. Like I was listening to Frank talk, and I was very critical of him at first, but he is good, and he has a good way of looking at coins, and he explains how he got to certain ideas and certain coins that he's looking at. So just give it yourself an edge by watching their stream sometimes. I think it's worth it if you can get past Thread guys screaming because that's just annoying. But other than that, yeah, it's been great. Yeah, pocket change. They've been together. I don't know if they all live together. I know Frank is there. Rasmer comes in and out. I don't know if Rasmer's living there, but they all stream pretty much often together now. And I mean, so it's been. I've only caught a couple of the episodes,
No,
but I've enjoyed it. Did you just test Seinfeld? You unmuted him just to see?
I did not unmute him. Um, yeah, I think that's a good call. I forget that like Twitch is another big one that people follow. That you can reach a big crowd on. That's actually a good shout. I think. I feel like that one's probably a little more like grindy. Like you probably have to be there like during the live stream or whatever, and like figure out what they're talking about, and, like get in right away. Um, yeah, not as much for me, but do you think that's certainly a path?
You can also check out his just follow what he writes on Twitter, because a lot of the times he will announce which guest he's gonna have on and what coin he's gonna talk about in advance. So he'll be open about it on Twitter. So even if you don't want to watch the whole stream and you know he's gonna have a guest on, let's say around 4 p.m. Eastern or Pacific or whatever it might be, then at least you know to tune in at that time and if you want to hear about a certain coin. So he'll line up guests and he'll announce it too on Twitter.
Yeah, that's a
Looks
good
like
call. Two of the ones that he had before I know were Pippin and the AI 16Z guy, and both after those calls they both ran to all-time highs. So you had a day or two heads up on that one.
My God, I thought Ozempic was dead and I sold it yesterday, and it just mooned just now. Poe just called it and it did like a 5x from 500K all the way to 7 million instantly in the last. Oh, actually, sorry, I'm on the 1 hour chart, but still, this last hour has been crazy. Yeah, the last 10 minutes have been nuts. It just went from a million to 7 million.
Yeah, I I dumped that coin for Quant. That was a bad idea.
I dumped it last night. I mean, it was a good move
It
because
was a
then it
good
just
idea. It was a good
yeah
idea if
yeah.
I would have sold Quant uh, by round trips.
I saw a lot. My thought on Quant was it ran too hard. Too many people are in. People are on fast, high profit. So I just was selling on the way up. But I did buy back in for a moon bag because I'm like, what if I'm wrong and it goes to 300 mil? And yeah, so my moon bag's down bad. But this Ozempic shit's moving right now. Wow. I wouldn't buy here at 7 mil. But his thought process was Face keeps busting balls, Lacey's balls about Ozempic. So he bought in just because he thinks they're gonna keep talking about it. See, we were just talking about Twitch streamers and just streamers in general, and this is a perfect example of what could happen when they get involved on a coin and when they start talking about something, right? Because even FaZe, they're into shit coins. Like the only reason Ozempic even ran yesterday was because Lacey was laughing about it on stream, and then everybody bought it to kind of like you know to play a joke basically to meme about it. So these are things that we need to keep in touch with. This would have been easy 7x if someone was just paying attention to their stream or whatever. So yeah, definitely is the meta right now to just keep an eye out on things that are viral with the streamers.
Yes, sir.
It's amazing to me how the game changes almost every day. Like, sure, we have pockets of activity in different sectors every few days, but from one day to the next, it's the whole game changes. So if you stay away for a couple of days, you come back, you don't know what's going on. I see it in chat every day. People just trying to catch up, right? And it's like if you think about it, Monday we were in full blown AI meta. Monday we're Wednesday now, and we're already nobody's talking about AI. AI is crashing. I'm sure that's going to come back, but for now, it's just everybody's pivoted off that so fast. It's, I mean, if you're not like on your toes in this game, and you're just like like sure it's good to hold coins too that you believe in for a long term, not just 2 or 3 days, whatever. But if you're not taking profit and being like flexible and just having an open mind and always keeping in touch with the market itself and what's hot, you can get wrecked so fast. That's why places like Metaverse HQ are important. You have a community that is always talking about what's hot and you're getting coins brought to you, right? So yeah, I'm just grateful to be here for sure. I don't know how people do it outside. I guess they have their own communities that that also do this, but I feel like they'd be a lot slower than us.
Yeah, a lot of times we're too early, and then it's hard to hold through the dips. I've had a lot of those recently, fortunately, where I just sold too early, I capitulated, and then it runs like this is fucking Ozempic coin.
Yeah, but actually, you're right. This looks similar to like a peanut where we bought super early, and then it died like completely died, just like peanut did, and now it's like 4 or 5 times higher than than our original entry would have been. Yeah, I bought like a 1,500,000 the first time, and I sold for profit. But actually, no, it looks like I'm down on it. But yeah, you're right. Like just if you can hold through the pain and DCA at the bottom, sometimes it rewards you. That's what I'm trying to do with Mang. I'm like, I don't think this thing's just gonna stay down. It's a cute animal. Like it's down only since last night. But if TikTok continues and people catch on, like I could probably turn this into a profit play. So I've been DCAing at the bottom.
Any anything else on current meta stuff? Um, or I'll open the floor. I don't know if this is a good idea, but I'll open the floor if anyone wants to give us a pick on a coin.
Cheeks.
Cheeks.
Testing. Oh, what's up, boys?
What up, Mitch?
Yo,
Had my first full night in shitcoins chat last night, Jake. It was hilarious.
It's so fun, dude.
that's fun.
Oh,
Like
man.
right when I came in, Jake on chain had called out Quant at like 18 mil, and then Ross doubles down and like tells me to look at the timeline. It's hilarious, and yeah, we saw that thing run up to like 85 mil, and I just thought the narrative was so good, but I just have no context. Just coming in new, right? Like I don't know how Peanut became Peanut, and I think that's like these are a lot more interesting where you have a coin. Like, what does it look like from like 10 mil to like a billion? Like, how does that climb happen? How quickly does it happen? What are the indicators? Like that stuff. I just have no context. So I should
But
have. Long story short, I should have taken the 8K last night, but I'm still holding it. But again, to your point, Jinzo, I didn't sell Ozempic. There were certain things that I liked about it. The fact that it was 2 months old, I think, was probably my favorite part about it. But I'm happy I did it. It's up like 650% right now.
hey, let's go. You're still in. That's amazing.
Yeah, I sold half my bag for like a 4 or 5x, and then I'm just gonna see what happens from here. But I just like how old that token is.
Yeah, regarding your question, we couldn't even tell you, bro. Okay, we've been in this game for over for over a year now, and we couldn't even tell you why things run to a billion. If we knew, we would have held peanut all this time. It's just that every day it's different. Every day it's different. So it's just every meta, every day, every coin. It's all been very different. It just depends on who talks about it, how they talk about it, who gets involved. It's just really that's why we don't even really like I don't like to set ceilings anymore because I don't know what a coin's gonna do. I don't set floors either. All I do is I take profit along the way and I try to hold the moon bag because the market changes so much. Every coin is so different that whoever tells you that it's gonna get to this point or it's gonna do this is wrong. They don't know what they're talking about because it's just so different every single day. Like everything we knew last week is now different. So like last week we were setting ourselves like okay 2 weeks ago we were setting ourselves like ceilings of 2 or 300 million for a coin. Then peanut ran to like 2 billion instantly and we're like, bro, okay, Binance is getting involved, the game changed, we have to change our ceilings and change our metrics for coins and stuff, right? So we did that. Now all of a sudden this other coin comes out, chill guy, and in a matter of 24 hours it runs up to 400 million and it has 80,000 holders. Like you see, the game's always, the goalposts are changing, the game is changing, so it doesn't even become a game of identifying what a coin's going to do. It's more of, okay, this is what I can do to make sure I secure profit and make sure I also have longevity in the space, and that's about it. That's how I see it. I don't even look at like ceilings anymore because everything we knew gets broken and shattered every single time. It just it's gonna get crazier from here, I think. So even setting a ceiling for yourself is actually like detrimental to your growth, because then you're limiting your mentality of how the space might flow. So in the end, I just think about my portfolio size, how I can grow it, and how I can be like, how I can just play infinitely into the future without like blowing up my account, or without capping myself either.
I think I feel like I got super lucky last night with, like, I don't know what it was. I think we just came in at a good narrative. It was popping, like you said, streamers and shit going viral like really helps these tokens pump. I made some rookie. I don't want to. I don't think rookie mistakes, but like I could. I would love some clarification on some settings stuff that you guys like, how you guys have it set up, because I have my slippage. I was trying to get in quant at like 15 mil last night, and 8 of my buy orders just my buy orders continued to just eat shit.
Did
And
you have
I don't know if like it wasn't until I upped the priority fee and made the bribe like 0.1 where I actually got buys in. But how do you guys like gauge that? I've
Are you
never heard of bribe before, and like the priority fee I'm used to, but it just didn't seem to be cooking last night for me.
do you
Yeah,
have
I
MEV
know.
protection on? Yeah, go ahead, Jake. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. What are you on, Balex?
Yeah, and yes, I do have Mev enabled.
Here, let me share my screen to make it a little easier
All right,
for
cool.
everyone else too.
The reason why you had those issues before, Jake, it's basically because MEV protection's been buggy, and it's demanding way too much prio and too much slippage for you to get it through. So Jake's probably going to show you now what we've been playing with lately to get things through.
Yeah, we talked about this a lot, like yesterday too in chat. But I think it would be a good thing to run through, kind of like the different options you have and like what it means. I'd say. Um, So yeah, if you guys are watching my screen, yeah, if you're using something else, then I'm sure you can adjust it in different ways. But in my opinion, like Deluxe is the best interface, so that's what I'd use for sure. Um, but yeah, on settings here, like you can also set different presets if you want to switch in between your settings really quickly. I actually have not done that. I probably should do that. But I think it's important to know, like, either if you have MEV or disabled or enabled, and I think there's good use cases for both. Um, I would enable MEV, especially on like any like type of large buys. I would for sure have MEV on,
Mm,
as well as sells. That way you don't get sandwiched at all. But it's important to know when you do have MEV on, like your transaction could fail if you don't have a high enough bribe, which is this section right here. And
got
you
it.
can
So the
see
bribe is
exactly.
only relevant for the Mev, Jake.
Yeah, it's only relevant for Mav pretty much. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong here, but and you can actually tell if you hover over this right here, it'll give you this warning that your bribe isn't high enough. Like right now, you have to have it over 0.02541, right, for to make sure your transaction does go through. So you'd want to set your bribe like
Got
to
it.
0.026 or whatever, or now it just changed 0.0159. This number constantly changes, and it'll be yellow if your bribe is if you have it set too low.
The bribe,
Um,
on the bribe, Jake. Last night, the bribe when I was trying to buy was suggesting 0.11. Does that
yeah,
seem high?
it is high, but it's just kind of like it happens a lot when where there's a ton of volume on, like, especially on like a certain coin. Then the bribe gets really high, and like that's unfortunate, but it's kind of just like is what it is. Yeah, people talk about Solana cheap fees, but it's actually not very cheap if you
No, the
want to.
shit is pricey.
Yeah,
Uh, and you mentioned, Jake, that it gets high on certain coins. So the bribe differs. How much you have to bribe differs on the volume of the token. It's not Solana in general.
um, I'm actually not sure. That's just what I've noticed, at least for like low volatility coins. Like you don't really need, like, the speed of your transaction doesn't matter really as much. I would say, so you don't really have to like pump up the bribe a bunch. Like I could just put it in Mev on this coin right here because it's not moving at all really. So I could just put it. I could just do like 0.001 probably, and it would still get through at right at my target. It might take like a few extra seconds, but I'm sure it'd be fine. But if it was like it was getting a ton of volume and it was bouncing back and forth, like my transaction would probably fail. Um, so yeah, and when you have Mav enabled, you can increase the slippage too to help your transaction get through because you're probably not going to get. Well, you shouldn't get sandwiched if you have Mev on. You have the proper bribe in there. But
Okay, that's great context. And then how about gas?
for priority fees that you're talking about.
Yeah, for prior.
Yeah, I mean I always just keep it at like 0.001. I like never change this personally,
Ah, shit.
and I never
Okay,
really have
I had it
issues.
set to like 0.1 last night.
0.1. Oh yeah, that's a lot.
I was finna get in. Again, I didn't know
Yeah.
like how to finesse the settings, so this is really great context.
So another thing you can do, so you can get in for cheap, right? For gas, and if you in fast, if you turn the MEV off. But obviously there that like makes it so you could get MEV'd, right? So you want to reduce your slippage a bunch. Like I put mine at like 5% or something. And I also do like I do like low amounts. Like if I'm trying to put like 10 or 20 soul into something, I'll just like spam like 1 soul buys or like 0.5 soul buys. At
Got
like the
it. So
slow
that's why on
amount. So like
fries.
I'm not getting MEV'd and I only do like 5% slippage or whatever. So my buys usually go in like right away, with MEV turned off. But
Gotcha.
yeah. Then I have low
Yeah.
gas too. So like I'm not just getting eaten up on gas fees every transaction too.
The small clips are important because it's another layer of protection where you're making it not worth it for the bot to even mev you, right? You're gonna fly under the radar in a way. So that's what I've been doing too. No big buys, just small buys. Mev off, and 10% or lower slippage depends on, like, even if you fail, I find that with the mev bot off, the fails are instant. Like you'll see it right away if you failed almost, right? It's just a few seconds and you'll see it. So you'll just click buy again. No big deal. So even if you have a little slippage, it's not costing you anything, and it's just not going to get picked up, and you can just click buy again.
And then when you guys like actually go in with weight, so with Albert, I fucked up by going in like more than 1 soul buys. Is that when you're meving, Jake, with bigger buys than one?
Yeah, for sure. I don't like to have the gas because I have to turn my bribe up a bunch, and I don't want to have my gas be like a big percentage of my transaction cost or like my total transaction. So yeah, if I have Mev on, I'm gonna up my bribe, make sure it goes in, and then I'll do like a bigger amount too. I don't want to do a bunch of small amounts and like have it eat up a ton of gas fees.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I have so much more questions. I don't want to derail, but
No, but
I'm
go
just
ahead, go
like
ahead. I'm sure this helps
No, I
other
think this
people
is
too, bro.
great.
I'm
Um,
learning because I don't know like I don't know what kind of project I want to go for in terms of entry. Like, I'll give you a great example, right? In my head, there is like the pump.fun, like sub 50K has not yet bonded. And when you guys say bonded, does that mean that like it's graduated basically?
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, same thing.
Okay, cool. So like there's that, like you want to get it pre-graduated, and then go for like the super big bag, right? The super like 1000xers, or you play in like the sub 1 mil or sub 5 mil, sub 10 mil. I'm still trying to get a hang of it because I feel like I see a lot of coins that have only been out for 2 hours that rip way past coins that have been out for like 2 months, right? Like Quant ripped harder than Ozempic in its first hour. And so I'm scratching my head going like, why? Like, is there any rhyme to reason to it all? can just like complete anomalies happen? How do you spot an anomaly like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's just paying attention to the market. Like you have to be really locked in. Yeah, KOs and cabals, like the quant, for instance, like that was just like a really funny thing that like caught on really fast. On crypto Twitter, like I feel like paying attention to Twitter is a big thing, and like following the right people, I would say. Like at least people who have like influence in the crypto, I guess in like the shitcoin world, especially. Um, like that video, the quant video, like caught like fire. Like people were sharing that almost immediately, and then everyone was like, "Oh, this is hilarious." This is like this little this little kid just made like 30K, and then said like "fuck you" and like flipped everyone off. Like that was just
It
like a
was
very nice
wild,
clip
bro.
of it.
It was a revenge coin, bro. It really was.
Yeah, so everyone's like, "All right, let's pump this," like despite this kid, and because it's hilarious. So I mean, yeah, I mean, stuff just pops up out of nowhere. Like you can't really predict it a lot of times. Stuff like changes on a dime in this space. So it can be tough for sure, especially if you're trading like these low cap stuff. Like if you want more long term stuff, then it's certainly better to hold like coins that have been established for like weeks or months, and like have a community and have shown like that they have like came back from multiple dips like of like 70, 80%, 90% dips, and have like a strong foundation, and you think it like will continue to be so, then like those are like usually the long term buys. But if you're playing the low market cap stuff, you kind of have to be pretty locked in, to see if whatever it is like still relevant.
When it comes to cabals, right? I hear this word mentioned a lot. Does that refer to like a small group of insiders that like coordinate to pump a specific token to then just like dump on everyone?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's a lot of people who have like influence and usually like whales too. Like a lot of these like callers, um, who are on like Telegram and like have their own call channels that people follow, and they like post a coin or whatever. Like a lot of them just like know each other, right? And they talk in their own group chats. They go like, "Oh, we're all gonna call like the same coin or whatever." Like they buy it, then they call it, and then the coin pumps a bunch, and then they're like, "Oh, look at I called this and it just 2x or 3x, and it's just like some low market cap shit." It's like it only did that because they called it. And then they can just continually do that, right? Because some people made money on their call, and obviously a lot of people got wrecked anyway. Um, but yeah, that just kind of is how it is in some of these.
Yeah, I gotta
Uh,
say, just being in the shitcoin chat has been super helpful. Like, everyone is just bringing context into it, and so uh, that's been really good. I find that when I'm like on my own on BullX, like trying to find stuff on my own, I'm just not as proficient. So I just wonder, like in the shitcoin chat, do people typically scan when a coin has already like graduated or moving? Because I tend to find not a lot of people post like non-graduated, non-bonded tokens. Or maybe I just haven't been in there long enough.
It happens.
uh,
It's just they've been bonding way too fast these days, so we catch them a lot of the times after bonding. But no, there's been a few. It's just obviously at the same time it's a coin flip. You don't know if it's gonna do well or not.
Yeah, if you want me to speak to Unbonded, I can. I've been playing way too much in that.
yeah, go ahead, Dark.
So some of the good callers I've seen, Melon's been posted a bunch as well, but Fasta, Skydaddy, there's some good callers in the chat. And if I didn't say your name, I'm not calling you out. It's just the ones I noticed the most. But with the non-bonded coins, they're the riskiest of the risky. I would not recommend going in those with size at all. A couple of things will happen. Either they'll just never graduate, the volume's just too slow, and they just hang out in 15 to 25K for days and days. But even if they graduate, 9 times out of 10 they're going to get dumped immediately. So when they hit that 90K 100K threshold, especially if you go check the bundles, they're usually bundled like 50% or something like that, and so you know that it's going to tank down to 30K and you're hoping for a rebound.
New
And
question.
yep.
What are the difference in the bundlings?
It's just how spread out that group actually spread out the coins at the beginning. Um, it's back in the bear market days. People didn't even bother with bundling. They would just buy 30%, hold 30%, and then dump. But then stuff like Photon and everything started tracking the top 10 holders and how much the dev was holding. And so they needed to get around those flags. And so they started just sending them out to 20, 30 different wallets in order to make it look like the top holders were holding that much. So that's where bundling comes in. And then so now we're trying to make sure that we can kind of follow that spider web, and depending on how sophisticated the people that are doing this are doing, it could be um, really, really high, like 75% for someone that just really didn't bother, or it can look like 20, 30% when it's really more. But usually anything higher than 10% is a little bit risky, especially in a non-graduated coin, because even 15, 20%, they can still tank that down to like 30K.
Got it. This brings up I think when it comes to like indicators are one thing, right? Like I like looking at holder count. I think that a lot of people last night in shitcoins also thought holder count was important. When we were talking about quant, we were talking about, wow, like great holder count, right? Again, I have no context for what's great, whether it's 10,000 or a million. I have no context yet. How do you guys have any tools that can basically look at holder count and go, okay, how many of these are actual, real, unique, active users versus just like bots created? Because it just seems that that's a really easy metric to game.
I think yeah, that's a good question. We were actually talking about this earlier. I don't know if he's here. 18 pages front and back was sharing stuff about it, but holder scans are really good tool to use. Holderscan.com. I'll post
Okay,
and I keep
holder
forgetting
scan.
where to post. I'll post in shitcoin chat. But you can like look at a coin and you can see um like the holder growth and change, and it'll have like a graph as well. Um, Here, let me reshare my screen. Sorry, folks. Yeah, so if we're looking at like, let's do Ozempic while it's here. Yeah, so it'll show stuff like obviously how much holders there are, but if you want to like see like, oh, if these like actual real ones, then you can see like how many people hold um above, like this one's how many people hold like over like $10 worth or whatever. I think if you have like, I think what's his name, front 18 page front and back was saying you have the premium version, which he said was pretty cheap. I'm not sure how much. Then you can see like over like $100 worth, or over like how many people have over $1,000 worth, right? So you can get kind of a little bit more in detail and a little more like realistic. Um, I guess look at how many holders there are for real and how distributed it is. And but yeah, this is also really good for like tracking growth and stuff too. Like if a coin's going down a bunch, but they're still gaining like a lot of holders, like usually that's a decent sign that this coin still has strength because they're still gaining people, even though the price is going down. There's like the community is still growing. So yeah, this is a good tool to use.
Damn, top holder 4%. Yeah, this is sick. Okay. I wish it would tell you like, okay, out of all these holders, right, quote unquote, a here's an estimate of how many of those users are actually very real and active versus just bots or snipers. etc.
Well,
That'd be a
I
really
mean, they're
cool
all
metric.
real. They're all real if they're putting money into it.
Uh, yeah, I guess that's true too.
I guess what do you
Okay,
mean
but
by
this
bot?
is more so like uh people that just spin up like thousands of accounts just to pump the holder number, right? But it's like owned by the same person. Like basically like unique users.
Yeah. Well, that would be like holders over a certain amount of money, right? Because they wouldn't be able to like put like thousands of accounts with hundreds of dollars, or else they'd have to buy hundreds of thousands of dollars
Oh, I see.
coin, right?
Okay, so $10 is like a set threshold that
Yeah, but I think if you have the premium, there's different ones. Like I think you can look at 1,000 over like $1,000 held as well percentage
okay, cool. Yeah, this is really useful. Thanks, Jake.
for sure. Um, yeah, there's a question about Mev earlier I wanted to address. They did address it in chat too, but just for like a real like quick and dirty voice explanation too, it's basically like when it stands for or it stands for miner extracted value, and it's basically like these bots that people run where if you have Mev turned off and your slippage is high enough, then they basically like sandwich your transaction. Same thing as a sandwich attack, where they, if you're buying, right, they'll buy like much larger amount than what you were buying before your buy goes through, and then it pumps the price, right, and then you buy at a higher price than what you meant to, and then they immediately sell like the same amount that they bought with plus like the difference that they were able to extract from your buy or whatever, so they make like a small percentage on that, and then you get like a worse entry, or if it or other way around, if you're like selling, then you get like a worse sell, I guess, entry as well. So, or exit, I should say. um yeah, so obviously not ideal. It's like worse, it's worse when it's on like smaller market cap stuff, right? Because the price can move a lot more um due to these meth bots. So certainly something to pay attention to on like smaller market cap stuff, like under 1 million and around there. Like they can really like fuck you on like exits and or entries and exits.
Wish you had a good point on the MEV when you're selling. If it's a risky token and you think it could rug, it might be worth it to have that turned off sometimes. You can at least get out. So sometimes it doesn't like allow you to sell. But that's more of like a risky token thing.
I have a super dumb question about AI tokens. Namely, my perception coming into AI tokens is that the AI component is like, just a Twitter feed with AI enabled so that it makes posts, creates content, it responds to users. Is that like am I right about AI tokens being that sense, or is it way more than that?
Sorry, I kind of missed what you were saying in response to users.
Yeah, what exactly is the AI part of AI tokens?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on the token. Most of them, like the common one, is just like uh, it's basically like a chat bot where people like have it talk like such and such, um, for like their Twitter account or whatever. Like there's like this there's like this Dolly Bully or something like that. I can't remember what it's called. I think it's Dolly, something around there. It's like a bully chatbot where it just like talks shit about people.
That's
And like
hilarious.
people like that going because it's just like some AI that talks shit. And then I mean Goat and like Zero Bro are like kind of like funnier ones too. And like they'll like reply to people on Twitter and stuff. Um so yeah, it's like getting more and more advanced, I'd say, like people with the stuff that people are doing with them. Like There's some I think that are trading. I haven't really seen much that have like done it successfully. Or at least it's hard to know like if it's the AI that's trading or just the human behind them like trading on their wallet. But yeah, I mean there's like more and more features that are getting added to these like different AI agents is what they call them.
Okay, that's good context. Thank you.
Yeah, great questions. Shinzo, you still around?
Yes, sir. I was just, listening to us teach Mitch a little bit. I mean, that's a lot of questions that I'm sure a lot of people have. So it's good that we're getting into them.
Yeah, those
New
are
people
great.
get in every day. Yeah.
Yeah, consider me like a Luke Skywalker, y'all Yoda, and I'm just trying to soak up as much of the Force as I can.
Yeah, man. I mean, any other questions, guys? Or at least like topics you wanted to cover? We're
Yeah, it
at
could be
past
it could be
hour mark.
anything. We're here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be anything. Just come up and ask us. Like, don't be shy. Don't be afraid. Everybody's learning. We know a lot of people are new to this, and we'd rather you ask us the questions instead of just going out and getting rugged and doing it yourself. So wherever we can help, we're here for that.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
what's up?
All right. So going back to the conversation about holder counts and pumping those up. Like right now, I'm totally not believing these holder numbers because like something like the Huz has 41,000 holders, and this coin, the Huz, I bought this a month and a half ago at the top of it, which was about 500K, and I put it in my hidden. I never sold it, and I consistently saw it was down at like 40K market cap forever, even lower than that, and it consistently had just a little bit of volume on it for a month and a half before it pumped. I totally believe that people bought up small amounts of it. So on the moment they wanted to get it pushed, it looked like it had a lot because looking at holder scan right now, it'll tell you the amount of holders that are greater than $10, which is 24,000 of that 41K. So if we subtract that, you get 17,000 holders that are under $10. If we think those 17,000 holders all bought the max $10 that they can there, that's only 170K of that market cap. That's not really that big of a number if you wanted to push something.
Yeah, I like that. I like what you're saying there because we even saw it in past cycles where people would manipulate holder counts. So why not on Solana too now? And we might be seeing that. I mean, it's an easy way to dupe normies or even people that have been in this space into thinking that the coin is healthy and doing well. So we might see more of that. I like that shout out. Like it was something very big last cycle. We were seeing it with coins very often where all of a sudden holder count would spike up and it was inorganic.
Yeah, because like it, and especially when like you want to push this new meta, right? For the past 24 hours, it's been TikTok, Gen Z stuff, right? If you have this coin that you can get traction on it, and all of a sudden people start looking into it, they're like, oh, look at all these holders, like look at the volume now, and then people start talking and it gets going, like you can get it to run pretty quickly. Like I don't chill guy, like I don't think they all of a sudden in fucking 24 hours got 50, 60K holders. I find that hard to believe after we've seen Solana coins have to grind and grind and grind for months and months and months to get up to those types of numbers.
Well, the one thing different there though is that the market was a lot more quiet. Like I could probably
For sure.
count, yeah, I count 10 people that were doing shit coins. If even 10, even in this chat, there was like 5 people, 6 people doing shit coins, and now we're a couple hundred. So it's definitely a bit of both. I think where it's
Yeah.
increased 10 like 100-fold in the actual population, but I also think there's a little bit of foul play too. So it's between both.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I wish we had like um, better metrics. Like when we used to have ETH stuff, like NFTs, we would be able to get better metrics on it because it is definitely possible that there's a lot of moonshot users that are putting in like very small amounts of money into these coins. That is a possibility.
yeah, I think A couple things on that. I'd say one we talked about earlier is the holder scan. Like if you get the premium version, I'm not sure how much it is or whatever. You could see how many holders have above $100, right? Or how many have over $1,000, and people aren't gonna like maybe like they will like a little bit, but I would guess like people aren't gonna be like distributing to like a bunch of wallets like over $100 worth like to try and pump up the holder count for over $100. um that's
Mhm.
a little far-fetched in my opinion, so like those are better metrics if you want to go by those and you don't trust the, like just the base holder metrics. You can look at like actually how many have like a decent amount of money into the coin. I think those are probably more accurate. And then also like I'd be caution like thinking too much in the past of like what past coins have done when we are kind of entering a new age, and like a lot of data is showing us that there are a lot of new people coming into the space right now. Like we're seeing a lot, like we mentioned in the beginning of the show, like there's a lot more download. Like the Phantom has just passed Instagram for how many downloads, right? It's getting every day, right? And like there's all these coins are getting views, and like there's a lot more stuff going around TikTok on crypto stuff. So I think there is actually a lot of people coming into the space right now, and it makes sense. I mean, Trump is super pro crypto, and Bitcoin's pumping a lot, and like it's actually like people are actually making money now. So like I would just be cautioned like of thinking like too far in the past of like what coins did when it wasn't a hot time versus what they can do now.
Totally fair. Good point.
I I also wouldn't be surprised if most of the normies are playing with $5 buys, like two to $5 buys, rather than what a lot of the people that have been in crypto for a while do, which is like 250 up to $1,000 buys, even more than that. Like, one sold to us, it's not that big of a deal, but it's 250 dollars about right now. And so, like, people coming in and putting in 0.02 on a buy, yeah, it's not that wise because you got to basically make 3x to just cover the fees. But um, I think for a lot of people, like $5, $10 is the risk tolerance they have. So I'm guessing if normies are coming in, they're probably not playing with huge amounts.
Yeah, I do think like over $10 is actually uh, a pretty good metric to filter out the other ones, because if people are gonna like pump up the holder count, they're probably not gonna send like $10 to every wallet. They'll probably send like pennies, right? And so they can send to like thousands of wallets if they wanted to. Um, is would be my guess. I wouldn't be like sending $10 to like thousands of wallets to try and pump up metrics.
It's a good call too on normies being in. A lot of kids, even people that don't have a lot of money, just getting in with very little, trying to roll it into something. I didn't think of that, but it's true. It's very logical. I mean, we're our brains are broken. We speak in soul and in ETH. We don't speak in very little dollars anymore in this space. So we never consider, that it would even be worth for to get into a coin with a few bucks. But it is because they're seeing people make 100x, 1,000x plays, and I guess that helps them hold long too. Because you're not gonna put $10 and just sell at 20. You're gonna put $10 and hope it turns into a couple hundred at least. So maybe we're creating long-term holders with these small values.
Yeah, for sure. If these normies got in early on Chill Guy and these things, they'll definitely have more soul to play with now.
It probably comes down to a lot like what we see in like DFS with not even DFS but just sports gambling with the huge parlays people make. They throw $5 into a parlay, right, and they hope to hit a $10,000 on a parlay of $5 of these absurd picks. They're probably doing the same thing on pump fund and just dumping a few bucks on every pump fund they see. Like $2, $3, $5, $10, whatever it is, and hope that those move. Or even if they catch something at low market cap. I mean, some people are treating this as a lottery because really it is a lottery. A lot of it's gambling if you don't put the edge in your favor.
Another dumb question, but is there like a window, a time period that you guys have seen where you're most locked in and attentive because this is when tokens launch that like rip, or is it like any time of day, anything can happen?
I would say any time of day for sure. Probably like during like U.S. hours, like afternoon hours and evening hours, are probably like the hottest, I would say, where there's like the most volume, where stuff can probably rip the most. But certainly anytime.
Yeah, exactly. Mostly American hours, but a lot of the times you'll see, since there's not a lot of people like online late to sell, sometimes you'll see some coins creep up. Like you'll see a coin hit its peak sometimes at 2 or 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, and you're thinking, oh, it's a great one to hold, but in reality, you wake up in the next morning, it's down 50% because everybody that had that coin and saw it run up during the night, they'll get up and dump it in the morning and take profits. So, but yeah, coins could run at any time. New coins could launch pretty much at any time. There's yeah, I would say there are hotspots, but at the same time, it's not like a fixed number. So I'd rather not even get into that. It really is like, look, last night it was like 10 p.m. Eastern or something when we really saw that one, the quant run, right? So it really could be at any time. I just think that at night there's like Eastern night, PST nighttime, overnight. There's less sellers, so there's less sell pressure, and then you get like the buys come in, and sometimes charts pump. But again, that's not a rule set in stone. It's not every coin, and a lot of the times things just bleed overnight too. So it's really it's all over the place.
Wow, Swishy just he posted this data a while back. Thanks for tagging me, Swishy. But like you can clearly see weekend volume Friday, Saturday is lowest, and then Sunday like kind of pumps back up into Monday.
So that volume thing he's showing you, the volume's lower, but the multipliers are higher, and I think that's mostly because there's less coins being launched on the weekend, since people just naturally have no activity. And what that does is probably reduces the scams a little bit and allows the good ones to shine through, and people are maybe more focused on certain coins. You won't see across the board volume like you do in the week. That's just what I've noticed. It's probably going to be more focused, so the multipliers are going to be bigger, and it skews the data a lot. So you're going to have a lot less coins launched. You're going to have a lot more multipliers on certain coins, and in a way, it's easier to cook that way. There's just less noise. You'll notice if you ever stay in chat with us over the weekend, it's much less noisy, but there's like a handful of runners that people are focusing on. That's just from what I've noticed. And some weekends it's just dead. But I mean, now that we're in a full bull, I feel like it's a lot more exciting on the weekends.
Well, Jake, I know I'm doing at your wedding, bro.
Give him a laptop in the corner.
Laptop out with the college homie.
Put an earpiece in Jake's ear and tell him, Jake, this is running. Bro, pull out your phone quick.
He's gonna have so much FOMO.
Yeah,
Go to the bathroom. Go to the bathroom. Go to the bathroom. Make
I'll
an
have to go to the
excuse.
bathroom real quick. Yeah, just sneak away.
The whole
This thing's
family's,
ripping.
the whole family's gonna think he has a drug addiction problem. Meanwhile, it's shit coins.
Oh,
I got a question.
Shoot.
what's up?
So I'm just curious on how you guys are exiting coins, specifically ones that are dying of volume. I guess, is it more a feeling, or are you guys hitting certain numbers, percentages? Like, what's making you guys exit more than, I guess, like most often? And like saying that, hey, this is probably not something I want to hold even overnight, even if there is like another pump that may come.
You want to take it first, Jake, and I'll give my thoughts?
Go ahead. I gotta run to a haircut real quick. So I'm like getting my car.
Cool.
I'm gonna get
Awesome.
disconnected.
Yeah, no problem. So for me, I don't even like what I would usually do is take profit on the way up because then the decision's easier. If you do feel like cutting a bag, already you're in profit when it's coming down, right? So ideally you try to get in early, you sell on the way up, and then by the time it does die of volume, you know what I mean, you already have a lot less to worry about. And even if you do hold that moon bag through the dip and think that it has a long-term future, at least you're not stressing. You know what I mean? Obviously a lot of times you're going to buy a top, and then you have to think about how you're going to cut your bag and if you want to cut your bag. But from there you have a couple things you can do. Hopefully you didn't go all into that bag and you can DCA lower, because we'll get pockets of volume activity where, you know, a coin will just go dead and then all of a sudden spike back up to all-time highs. So a lot of the times if it's a coin that's not just not like a shit coin with no socials, for example, and I think the right people were on it, and I did have a good reason to buy, and it wasn't just a gamble, I'll probably DCA at the bottom and not sell there because you're trying to counter trade your mentality where you're thinking, oh shit, I'm screwed. This thing tanked 80%. I'm wrong. My original thesis was wrong. Like all these emotions that get involved. I try to kind of put them aside and be like, you know what? I put 5 sol too high. Let me put zero. 0.5 now and average down and see what happens. What's another 0.5 if you're down 5 sol, right? So that's what I would usually do. But just to get back to your original question, just how you decide on cutting your bag for real, to me it just becomes if like how much faith I actually had in this coin. Did I make a mistake in buying the coin that had no socials, might have been a rug, and I didn't check it out properly? And if I think that's the case, then I'll just cut it. I'll take a 50% loss and just chalk it up to me being an idiot and, you know what I mean, having bought the wrong thing and just gambling basically. But if it's a coin I really believe, then I'm always DCAing. I'll DCA and wait for it to at least come back up to the level of my average buy, right? I did that now with Meng too. I've been buying because I think it's illogical for it to be the slow one. It's the biggest, like, cutest animal with the most TikTok views. I think it has a chance of coming back, so I've been buying. You know what I mean? I might be completely wrong, but hey, what's a couple of DCAs on a coin that you're already super invested in? And that's it. That's just how I try to save myself from my positions. A lot of the times you're compounding your mistakes, but like a lot of other times, you're actually going to end up in a huge profit by doing that. Yeah, I mean, it really depends on the coin. It depends on your position. It depends on how much of your stack you used for that play. You know what I mean? If you're all in and you're kind of stressing and now you're thinking, man, I'm not going to have any soul left because I made the mistake, I'll probably take some out and try to survive for the next play and build it back up. But yeah, hopefully you're not all in on those plays because those are just degen plays, really. If you need a more specific answer, I can dig in. I could probably show examples too if I get to my laptop, but that's just how I see it. You know, I try to not play too heavy on every play, and I try to, you know what I mean. I try to manage my risk as I go through, and usually I'm selling on the way up. That way, I don't have to deal with these situations on the way down. Even if I do decide to cut my bag and move on to the next play and maybe keep a moon bag, it didn't affect me that much because I already took most of my profit out, right?
For sure. No, that's a good answer. I appreciate that. Um, Also, I guess for examples like Skittles yesterday, like I got in around, I don't know, 5 mil when it was had crazy volume, and a lot of times when coins like that would have that type of volume, there would be a pullback. So I got in on the pullback, um, and it kind of reached the all-time high again. It was like 7, 8 mil, but then just like slowly tanked afterwards. So in instances like that where it's like there is something behind it, like the TikTok, whatever it was, there was something behind it. It did have socials, but it just straight up tanked and fell and never came back. It's like I guess I'd use that as an example, um, because it's just like where would you have cut your losses in something like that?
Yeah, that's a tough one because you think it's gonna reach all-time highs. It's not even really at 2x. You bought at 5, it went up to 8. You're expecting to at least hit a 2x. You know, like you got stuck in a little bit of a limbo position. Personally, if I just see volume like falling off a cliff, I'll either set myself a reasonable loss that I'm okay with. Like if I see that the attention is not on Skittles and that nobody's talking about it, everybody's talking about something else, and I'm just in this now while everybody's focused on something else, I'll try to just break even or take a small loss, 10%, 15%, and move on to the next. Because obviously now you thought it was going to run higher, it didn't break through, and you're stuck making that decision, right? I'm just gonna survive to play another day, and basically, yeah, most of the times. A lot of the times, it's happened to me where I thought I would do the right thing, and I just run it to zero. It's happened, you know. But that's why you limit your exposure. You always have to think, okay, this is one play of many that I'm gonna do in the next few days. How much am I really risking here, and how much am I willing to lose? Like I like to take small at bats and not go into big plays because every time I do play 10 or 15 sol, I wreck myself. I get too emotional about it. I hold too long. I just make mistakes. Every time I've built up a one sol position into multiple sol, I end up losing it all on stupid things, trying to grow my stack too quickly on other plays. So really, it just always comes back down to how much you plan on putting, and just set yourself like already sort of ideas of where this can go and what you'll do when it gets there. So if you were wrong and it comes back down to your break even, are you taking it out? And I mean, and playing on the next one, or are you willing to take that amount that you have in and just riding through it all? And if it goes to zero, it goes to zero. You know, like these are things you have to tell yourself before you even get into a position because it's good to have all the outcomes kind of thought of before you get there, because then you're kind of panicking. You're like, no, it's gonna. You start gambling. You're like, oh no, it's gonna go back up. I feel it. I know. And those are not the emotions you want to have. You want to have a good thought out plan before, you know what I mean, it gets to where you're going.
Yeah, cheers, man. Appreciate that. I just have one last question. What typically are you holding for Moonbag? Like percentage of your position? Because there's been a few times where I'll get in like, I don't know, but pre-bond and I'll run it up like a 0.25 up to 6 soul, and I'll take out initials, maybe 0.5. I've got like 6 soul left, and I'm like, man, this could definitely go higher. Like, let me wait for a pullback and just see if it keeps going, and then it just dies, and I end up selling for like an extra 1. So I guess like when you think that there is a peak, at what point are you selling a good majority, and then how much is usually that majority that you sell to then hold your moon bag?
It depends on a few things. It'll depend on how much I made on that coin. Like for example, if I put 1 soul and it ran up like to 20 soul, and I'm looking to hold a moon bag and I took out most of it, I'll probably have a quarter left or less. Like maybe 5 soul or whatever. I'll keep as a moon bag. I already pulled out 15x from that play. So it really depends on a few things, like market cap, for example. If the coin is at 1 billion and I got super lucky, which obviously that hasn't happened, but let's say now I held peanut all the way to 1 billion, I probably would have taken out 90% of my play. Because what's really the upside there, right? You need to think of upside too when you're holding a moon bag is, uh, do you really think this coin is going to go to 5 billion? And is it better just holding that moon bag, or is it better now that you took the 90% of the upside of it and putting it into another coin? You know what I mean? Like, it really depends on what you think is left to be squeezed out of that juice. Because you'll look at Whiff and Pepe, how long did they trend in the 2 to 5 billion range, for example? Forever. Do you really think it's important to hold all that just for another 0.5x or whatever? Not really. So depending on what the cap, what the ceiling I think is, even though earlier I talked about not thinking about ceilings anymore, I still think about that for my short-term plays, where I tell myself, yeah, I want to hold moonbags of everything I've held, but I want to decide how much I want to tie up into that moon bag too, and that'll always depend on how much upside I still think it has. So it'll depend on how much I made. It'll depend on what the market cap is, and it'll depend on my liquidity too. But usually I'll always hold between 10 and 25% of my final bag as a moon bag.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Anytime, bro. Yeah, I've kicked myself so many times by selling moon bags. Like, it's crazy because we get into this game and we have so much going on all the time, and when you're too involved in this space, it's like, oh man, I'm in too many coins and I need liquidity. I'm gonna sell that moon bag. I said I never would, right? And you know what happens as soon as you do? The coin runs to infinity. So that's what happens with Peanut. I told myself, the political meta is gonna die now. The elections are done. No way Peanut goes any higher. And I sold my final stack at 150 million, and I left the 10x on the table on a pretty sizable chunk too. So yeah, sure, I could have got a 10x anywhere else, but you're also in a way risking that somewhere else with a degen play, and I did end up losing it by risking it and playing on tilt and trying to make that 10x somewhere else. So that's another thing to consider. Do you think you're going to lose it somewhere else, or is it more like safe, just parked in that coin that's going to eventually keep moving and has the right narrative behind it? So it's not a perfect science. It's not a like, you know what I mean? It's always going to be an exact science and a recipe that you need to absolutely like have for success, but you need to have rules, and you need to kind of, you know what I mean, have some successful swings at bat, and hope that, you know what I mean, you don't make too many mistakes along the way and don't gamble it all the way. But yeah, in the end, it really, yeah, it's not. You'll still make mistakes. It's just you have to limit those mistakes and just play smart and think about longevity. Really, longevity is the biggest thing in this space. You know what I mean? If you bust out right now, and then tomorrow there's going to be that big runner that you knew would run because you see everybody talking about it. Well, the biggest mistake wasn't going all in the play. It's not having liquidity now today to play that sure thing that we all talked about. For example, quant, that you see it's written in the stars that it's about to run heavy on the same night. So yeah, just stay liquid. Make sure you don't make mistakes and bust out completely, and always have something to play with. Any other questions from the audience? I'm still here for a bit, so if you guys want to hop on, go ahead and ask. We'll talk through some things.
I thought it was interesting that so Fosta he didn't. I guess he had counted blob off, but instead of selling it, he just I guess hid it, and he just found it like 15 minutes ago at 182x. How often does that shit happen? Like, should we be just selling out of every position, or like I think GVN said that he just like buys and hides? Like, is that a strat that actually works?
GVN is trying something new because he's shell shocked. You notice that a lot of our old bags that we decided to sell out of just did like crazy X's, like Peanut did 5,000x. Like we've never seen anything like that before. So he's trying this thing where he puts a couple of like a 0.1 or whatever in each coin and just doesn't look at it and sees what it becomes later on. Like, I mean, I I see where he's coming from. I wanted to do that too, but the thing is, liquidity is going to become an issue, right? We don't have unlimited funds, so we can't really be doing things like that. But yeah, I would say on that vein, you don't want to be selling your dust. Like if you have something that's worth 20, 30 bucks, you know what I mean, and that's dust to you, don't sell it. Get liquidity somewhere else. Because I've seen it so many times, and it's happened to me even, where months down the line, the coin that you thought was dusted and was worth less than like 100K market cap, it just now all of a sudden ran to 30 or 40 million. I saw that with Nailong just a month ago. Even Peanut was dust. It was dust. It was at 50K. And some of us held, some of us sold before the 50K. Jake held through it all. And his peanut bag ended up becoming over $250,000 just because he held through it all of it. He had bought a few Soulworth and he said, you know what, fuck that. I'm not going to sell now. I believe in this. And it did. It came back and now look at it. $1.2 billion. That thing was down to 50K. Okay. Same thing with Nylon. I had it. I bought it in like a 2 million range. Then it got rugged. It went down to 30K. I did not DCA. I should have, but I was kind of low on Soul and I didn't do it. A couple months, like a month later, the thing ran up to 50 million or 45 million. So yeah, in general, you don't want to be selling your dust. It's better off keeping that $20 there in case it becomes something. It's not a big deal. You go find liquidity somewhere else because like you never know which dust is gonna run. I have 80 or 85 positions of dust right now that I would never attempt selling. Well, what do I need to pull out a .005 soul out of that or a or .05 soul out of that? I'd rather just keep it there in case it does become a couple soul again one day. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's interesting about Peanut. I didn't know it cratered that low and y'all still held that. Like, what was the conviction behind holding Peanut?
So the thing about Peanut is Jake found it because same thing as now. We have a TikTok meta, right? We were in like a cute animal meta back then of TikTok animals that were popular. So he found Peanut and he said, "Yo, this thing has a bunch of views, but nobody's talking about it. So I think it's a good coin. Let's see what it can do." And he brought it to us. I think it was at 300K. So we all bought into Peanut. But the thing is, back then it wasn't dead yet. It was still the Peanut was still alive. It was just a cute animal on TikTok. But then it kind of lost traction. That whole meta lost traction. AI started getting hot. So Peanut and all the other coins, like even Mudang, dropped to like 50 million, and all the other coins that came with it or came with that meta, they all basically went to dust, right? So that's it. I had sold on the way down, made a little bit of profit, and I that's it. I left it like that. Jake just ended up holding. Other people probably ended up holding too, but all of a sudden news comes out that they fucking killed the squirrel, bro. Like we had bought this thing before that died, you know, like way early, and we knew right away. Like as soon as I heard he got killed, man, I ran to my computer and I bought fucking back into Peanut because I'm like, yo, this could get big. And it just so happened that we were there for every step of it. Like then the news picked it up, and then we knew that there's a chance that
Wow.
politically,
The
you
fucking
know,
squirrel died
yeah,
as you held the
bro.
bags.
Yeah, they killed it. New York fucking
Wow.
grabbed it and assassinated it. And the theory was that, you know, it might become a political tool because now, oh shit, the Democrats killed the squirrel. So that was it. That was my conviction of it. But then when it ran to 130 million and it had a hard time at that level, and then followed like the elections had passed and everything, I told myself and other people too, like this was like common, everybody was thinking similar, was that, oh, elections are done, they're never going to talk about this squirrel again. And we left it there, you know, like I sold out of it, whatever. But then Binance fucking picked it up, and then everybody kept talking about it. So it became like nobody expected Binance to pick up fucking Peanut. You know what I mean? As the next coin. So that's basically how that happened, and it ran to astronomical numbers. It actually ran to 400 million when Binance listed, and it did another 5x or whatever it might be, around 5x after Binance listing. The same night that they announced it, it went from 150 to 500, and then after that, after it went on to exchanges, it went up to over a billion, almost 2 billion.
Are there any indicators that give us the notion that it'll get listed on an exchange? Like, is there wallets that people track that are owned by these exchanges that like buy before they list it, something like that?
Yeah, I'm sure there's some wallets that you can track, but I think it's just been random. I really wouldn't be able to tell you how to track it. I know some people had the inside scoop on it, and they got the info a few minutes early on Act and on Peanut. And there was one guy that posted about it like a day in advance, but he ended up deleting his account because he knows Binance is strict on that stuff. He just disappeared from the face of the earth. And but yeah, I mean, it's not something that we'd have readily available. I don't think. Like you'll probably get it a few minutes in advance. But honestly, the way I've seen things go, even as soon as they list it, it looks like it's still a good buy because if Binance lists something, it still has legs. It's going now. It's going to be in front of people that usually didn't have access to that coin. So it opens up the market or that coin to a whole market that we never have access to. Because even when I was getting started in crypto, like or not getting started, but maybe a couple years in, like dexes started getting popular, right? And who really had access to a dex? It wasn't going to be me, a guy that just got into crypto and doesn't know how to work a wallet. No, I had access to the sexes, and I mean, with crypto growing, you have to think that people usually will gravitate more towards something easy to use, like a centralized exchange, right? So it's just landing your coins that basically you got super early into an exchange, into people's hands that don't know how to trade and don't know how to use decentralized or personalized wallets. And the thing is, the game changes because now on a centralized exchange, your cap of 200 or 300 million dollars for a coin, because on a DEX that's a little crazy, it gets a little high. Well, that becomes the floor on a CEX. Because if you look around, there's not that many coins at 2 or 300 million market cap on those exchanges. So it kind of it changes the perspective a little bit, and you have to look at it from a different angle once it does hit a sex.
Do you find, Jinzo, that before it hits like a tier one exchange, like the tier twos listed first, like Mexi, a Bitmart,
Yeah.
etc.?
Yeah. Mexi, there's a couple out there that if you've been around for a while, you kind of know already. But Mexi and Ascendex and a couple others, like they're just they list every garbage. Like I get alerts all the time on my phone about this garbage that I've never even heard of that gets listed. They list 10 or 15 coins a day, and they're just like hungry for the volume, and they try to be quick to list these coins because basically they wanna leech the volume. That's the only way they could survive in this market. So they do. A lot of them list these coins real quick, and I would think the final boss is really like Binance and Coinbase that are very strict on what they list. But Coinbase lately has been a bit more weird about it. Like they list random shit. Honestly, it's I think they list more of things that they can have an edge on and they can control the market on. They're looking to make money, and it's starting to get very obvious that ever since CZ was forced to step down, this new CEO has been a bit more loose with it, which is not a bad approach. But I mean, it kind of tarnishes their reputation a little bit, where now they're listing things that normally you'd never see on Binance. But that is kind of getting with the times, so I don't mind it as much. It gives us opportunity. Um, but yeah, I've seen the game change a lot on the centralized exchanges for sure, and there's different levels to it.
Oh, this is great. What a fun time to be alive.
Yeah, we have all the advantages in front of us, bro. Like being like we have to understand too. Sure, it's shitcoining is being degen, being a gambler, but you have to understand the opportunity that it brings to people that know what they're doing on chain. It's just you're able to get these coins that might become something one day. You're getting them way before anybody else. The thing is, obviously, when you're playing that low, you can't see the future vision, and you can't always determine where a coin might go like a few months down the line. We're thinking short term, right? But I mean, at least we have that opportunity. Some people are making millions. Some people made millions with Peanut and with other coins too. They just got lucky and their coin got listed, right? I'm glad you're in, Mitch. Though it's been fun seeing you get with us over here.
It's tough too because there's just so much to do on the HQ side. So, but I think it's just fun to just be kicking it with a squad again.
Yeah, you got a hot mic, buddy. I don't know if he hears me. I can't mute him right now. I got him. I sniped him. Yeah, bro, we've been busy. We've been cooking on the VHQ side. I know you guys are super busy, so I'm always happy to see you guys join in whenever you can. I've been seeing Kenny in chat from time to time too, and that always makes me happy because I know how busy he is.
Yeah, when Poop enters the chat, that's when you know. That's when you fucking know.
The hammer comes down.
Okay, I'm back and I'm sorry. That was a cook last night. If Quant keeps cooking, I'm sorry. Hopefully follows.
Who said I'm back and I'm sorry?
That was your boy.
The kid or you? I'm curious if he's gonna say anything. The one thing I didn't like. Okay, in a way, I don't mind it. Honestly, between me and you, I don't care that they dox the kid because it's gonna teach him a lesson. I really don't think anybody's gonna get violent with the kid, but it was like nobody's gonna go and attack a little kid. It was more to teach him a lesson, right? I don't think it's gonna be like bad for him physically or anything. You know what I mean? But people could be mean, so obviously not the best that they doxed him. But at the same time, that's one way to scare a kid straight. You know what I mean? You put his family on the internet and you tell them, bro, we know who you are. Calm the fuck down.
Yeah, that was wild. I didn't agree with the whole Sarah thing. Like putting like
Exactly. Yeah, that was weird.
doxing the mom and all that shit. I mean, I'm just in it for the narrative and the pump. But yeah, I understand why like all those coins ripped last night. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, that kid needed a lesson because you know what was going to happen next, right? The next was going to be, oh, I just rugged the coin for 100K. Or, you know what I mean? He was going to keep doing it. Obviously, there's a lot of ruggers in this space, but this kid's doing it in your face, laughing at you, and showing you that we're all idiots. And basically, oh, here, I stole 3K, now I stole 30K. And he was going to keep doing it if nobody taught him a lesson. So, like, obviously, it's nice that the space did that. But at the same time, I hope that's where it ends because no, we're not here to hurt anybody.
I'm sorry at a 40 mil market cap? No way.
No, I don't think so. Did it?
No shot. No shot. No, I don't think so.
No. It's at 470 now, 470K, and it went to. I'll tell you right now. It went to a couple million. Yeah, like 2 mil. About. Oh, bro, this Meng coin needs to come back up. I've been DCing into it. We'll see how it looks in a couple days. I'll just let it cook. What are you holding now, Mitch? What different coins do you have?
I've got Quant. So my position on Quant is at 120% right now. I didn't take off my principal either, which probably I should do. I'm back in Ozempic, so I sold my full Ozempic position at around like 4.5 mil average, and then I bought back in, like Tarek was talking about, whoever was talking about earlier, at like 2.5 to 3.5. I just bought back into I'm sorry, just because Quant is starting to rip again. That was part of like the I'm sorry was part of last night's narrative. And then I got this stupid coin called Rio that someone posted about. And that's about it, just 4 coins. I can't handle more than 4, dude. It's crazy how everyone's just fucking buying everything.
I think with this, less is more. You don't want to get too many positions because then you're not trading optimally where, you know what I mean, you can't get it out in time because your eyes aren't on it. I try to be in 2 or 3 active positions at any one time. If not, it's other coins that I'd have longer outlooks for. But in general, I try not to be into too much, because it's not worth it. You start missing tops, and especially with how busy we are. it's not ideal to be into too much at once. Plus, how much liquidity you're actually going to put in shitcoins? What if tomorrow there's a flush out or a black swan or just a bad day and your coins never run again? It could happen, right? So I try not to have too much risk on the table all at once.
What are you in right now, bro? What are you holding?
My moon bag of quant, which is not really a moon bag, it's a dust bag. It's getting kind of Mang, quant, Ozempic, and a little bit of waifu. And I did buy some understand, thinking it was gonna pump higher, but I just bought a tiny bit just in case it goes somewhere while I'm not looking. Like I just placed a little bit of soul there, like one soul or something. So they're all pretty small right now. Meng's my biggest position. I have like 6 soul in there. Quant, I think I had my 5 soul moon bag that's come down quite a bit. I might. That's the one I've been considering maybe buying the dip on because it ran like crazy, so it could probably go back up. And then from there, I have, like I said, Ozempic that I put a couple soul in right now at the bottom. At this,
I
I waited
like
for the
Ozempic.
retrace. I like it
I
too.
love that.
If they keep
Yeah.
talking about it, yeah. So
I mean,
I
it's
waited for a
2 months
retrace.
old. That's why I like that it's 2 months old. I see the holder count continue to increase, even though like like a lot more people enter obviously when they see dips, and so like it's had like a nice pullback, and again it's just 2 months old. Like I think there's some power in that.
Yeah, it's already. If it was gonna rug, it's already done it, and it's been CTO'd. If it did get CTO'd, so yeah, maybe it has legs now. Like you see, it hit a low like the other day, like really low, under 500K. So who knows, man? It might be one that we can just hold on to and see if it goes anywhere. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's it. That's it for me. I don't. I try. I used to get way more positions, but yeah, okay. Obviously, I have my frog, but that's in another wallet and with and Pepe. But those are positions I don't look at. Those are things I'm gonna look at in a few months. So I really don't care what it does from day to day. If I see a good entry, maybe I'll add to those bags, which I do often. But other than that, no. I try to not look at them at all. I came inches away from selling my whiff and my Pepe in the last pump, and I should have, because I told myself we're getting too frothy. It's gonna come back down. I'll be able to buy more coins for the same price. But then the top came and went, and I was just like, nah, fuck it. I'll just hold them now. I won't risk selling on the dip.
Yeah, those are coins that like, are part of the culture now. So I feel like that's a set and forget.
Yeah, we have dips across the board. Like even all the runes today are down. So it's just been a crazy week or two where everybody was positioning themselves, and now we have like if you have liquidity, there's a lot of attack that you can do. A lot of different points you could attack. The Cerebrons are down too a little bit, but see the Cereborns. I mean, I think they're gonna keep grinding up. They're 5.6 now on a nice little dip, but I feel like they're gonna keep going. Anybody else? Anybody got some more questions for us? I'm about to leave. I have like 10 minutes left, but I'm here for now. If you guys have anything else to ask. It could be typed too. You just ping me in the chat and I'll look it up.
Ali Shira is asking, are there any callers that you like, Jinzo?
In MVHQ or out?
I guess just in general. But yeah, also in HQ.
Yeah, groups. I would say I look a lot through. I have a lot of. I could share the ones I check on Telegram. I like Paul the best, Trader Paul. Other than him, I've been following a lot of Kanye's greatest hits, and the new one I follow now that I like is Brock's. So these three have been even QWERTY. Those are the four I look at the most right now because they a lot of the times they'll talk about the same things, but often they'll have their own little takes. But I know I'm on something hot when all of them talk about it. Like Chill Guy, I don't know why I faded it. They all started talking about it at similar times, and it was just a dumb fade. You know, I'm in Bando's group too, and I think like he took a month off. He had his wedding and stuff, and I think ever since he came back, he hasn't been the best. Like I feel like he's really sharing a lot of rugs, and he's not doing enough DD on the coins that he's been shilling. So I feel like he's not the best follower right now, but it's still good to have his pings. It's just I find sometimes when I buy into his things, they go to zero real quick. So I've been more careful. But here, I'll make a list of all the ones I follow, and you can join them. And Tonkatsu, what do you do if you find a TikTok you like but there's no coin? Well, the obvious answer, bro, is to make the coin and share it and rug everybody. I've never created a coin in my life. Don't listen to me.
That
I
would
think
be
about it
great
sometimes.
context too. Like we should just make a coin live like right the fuck now and see how it works.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I would want to do that, but at the same time, what does that say about us? But you're right. I mean, it's easy. I think
No, just literally just for education purposes, right?
yeah, on Pumfun, it's so easy to do. Um, but yeah, I've never done it really. It's just I've went through the steps and looked through it and stuff, and it looks easy. But I think a lot of the work comes after the coin creation, where you know how you're gonna get the right people on it, how you're gonna get liquidity to it. You know what I mean? Hold on, I'm just making this list here. I'm putting them in the order that I like, that I listen to pretty much, the order of respect that I have for these guys. I'm putting Brock's last just because he's the last one I got into, and I'm not sure yet 100%. He's been cooking like crazy. It's just I'm still debating on how I like him. Bo is the best. He has like 90,000 followers, and a lot of the times, like a lot of people in this chat are tracking his wallet, and they'll buy things um, before, like they'll track his wallet and they'll buy. But just keep in mind, he buys a lot of garbage too. So he's just like us, but on a bigger level with a lot more volume. So like ideally you want to buy something that looks good that he's also in, and you'll hope that he'll talk about whatever coin it is because he'll buy like 100 coins but talk about three. You know what I mean? So it's not the best tracking as well. And I've gotten wrecked a lot trying to buy coins that he bought just because he bought. Like if you're gonna buy something that he bought or that anybody else bought, just make sure you also have research to back up your whatever you think. Right? Don't just buy because someone's buying. That's probably the easiest way to lose soul. I was thinking about making a coin yesterday, actually, because I don't know if it exists yet. I wanted to go take a look and I didn't. I wanted to make a news daddy one because this guy Dylan Page is really popular on TikTok and everybody knows him now. He's like 13 million followers, but I've been following him for a while. Actually, let me go see if News Daddy exists. It probably does. And everybody calls him the News Daddy. He's a little kid, but yeah, it does exist. Someone made it, but it didn't catch on. Only 6,000 market cap was probably a rug too. Yeah, up and down straight. Dev sold. But yeah, this one here, I have a feeling someone's gonna create a good one with this guy's name eventually.
Yeah, I'm making one on Pump.fun right now. It is so easy.
It is. It's quick, bro. That's why there's thousands of them made every day. 8,000 plus every day. Oh yeah, there's a few. I have it here now. Dylan Page. Yeah, but none of them caught on. I guess that was my worry with this too. Is just it's not memeable, right? It's just a guy. It's like if you made a fucking Charlie D'Amelio one and hoped and hoped to make money. Yeah, you see Llama says it too. It's very easy to create the coin, very hard to get marketing because a lot of it is going to cost you money. Marketing is one thing, but what people are doing now, they're just like on pump fun, like tracking coins and stuff. If there's no volume coming in, nobody's buying it. They're not just going to create volume for you. So you need to get the needle moving, and that costs some money, right? You're going to need to buy up your own pump fund, and you have to have a bunch of friends buy with you, and you know what I mean. Like you have to have traction. You have to have people that talk about it, and yeah, it's just it can get a little crazy. Like you start toting the line of rug and not rug real quick. You know what I mean? Like what do? You're gonna create a coin and then talk to all your friends about it. And what, you're gonna be stuck holding the bag, or are you gonna sell from your bundled wallets? You know what I mean? After you talk to it about it, everybody. That's kind of why I never went that route. It's just because I don't want to really be the type to make coins and then everybody look at me like I did something bad because I sold some of my own coin, right? So I don't do it. I don't touch it. All right, I've been at this for almost 2 hours. I gotta get back to work now. Start doing my supper rush and stuff. So we'll talk soon. But I'll be in chat if you guys want to discuss or anything. Just ping me and I'll get to it in a bit.
Sounds good,
Mitch,
bro. Thanks for the insight.
thank you, bro. It was nice talking to you. See you in chat.